what we can do right now in this moment to initiate some positive changes and move our lives forward. Shalia's in the building. I see you. Great day to you, sis. Says, I am grateful that I'm on top of the world instead of the world on top of me. I like that. That's a packed statement right there. Let me take that off the screen. With that being said, family, comment below. I want to make sure I get a consensus and really get a pulse of the room or the broadcast, so to speak, right now. How many of us are interested, or better yet, committed and determined to make some positive changes in our lives? Put a number 1 in the chat below. How many of us have made up our mind? When I woke up this morning, I want to make sure I improve. I want to be 1% better than who I was yesterday. I want to build progress towards that vision that I have for my life. I want to take steps towards my goals. I want to improve my situation that I find myself in for the better. I want to create a better environment for myself, for my family, for generations to come. I want to accomplish that dream that wakes me up in the middle of the night and gets me excited. How many of us in this broadcast are really kind of in that mental state right now where you've made up your mind? Where I'm at right now, this ain't it. There's more out there for me. There's greater that I can accomplish. There's bigger things that I can do with my life, with my potential, with my gifts, with my talents. There's a better impact that I can make in the community in which I live. How many of us find ourselves in that mental positioning right now where you've made up your mind? I'm going to create some lasting changes. I'm going to create some positive changes. I see the ones popping up. Marie, salute. I see you, Tanisha. Excellent. Excellent. Well, with that being said, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. I want to talk about what we can do to create not just positive changes, but lasting positive changes. I'm talking about being committed for the long haul and making sure that this year doesn't look like last year and that we create changes that last a lifetime in order for us to live the life that we envision. I want to reference a quote that I posted on Instagram. If you guys are not connected with your boy, be sure to tap in on Instagram at @D1Gibson. But this morning I put this quote out, and I'm going to kind of further elaborate on this insight that I shared on Instagram. I should have put it up on the screen, but nonetheless, I'll read it out loud to us. It simply says this: it's the start that stops most people, and it's the follow through where many others struggle. But it's those that remain disciplined and stay consistent that make progress and create positive changes in their lives. The call to action ultimately is for you to be the one that continues to show up. You be the one that consistently puts forth the effort. You be the one that stays committed to go the extra mile. Now, if we're paying attention, we're describing 3 classifications of individuals here. In this small and short quote, it's really highlighting 3 types of people. Number 1, there's a category of people where it's the start that stops them. The fear of failure, the fear of success. Maybe it's imposter syndrome. Maybe it's the battles that they have internally, the battles of excuses, right? Maybe it's limiting beliefs that have been holding them back, where they believe they can't gain access to certain opportunities. They can never change their life for the better. Maybe it's the fear of criticism. You putting yourself out there and then people pointing their finger at you, and maybe you make a mistake and they're saying you're not good enough and you don't have what it takes. These are often things that stop many people from starting where they have a goal. They have a desire in their heart. They have a vision that they want to fulfill and live out in their life. But there's this fear that often stops them. There's this limiting belief that often paralyzes them, right? There's this insecurity that often cripples them, and they neglect to take the necessary steps to get to where they want to be. What we must do, like we talked about last week, everybody comment below. I want you to lead with courage. I want you to lead with courage. Because like I highlighted, the cave that you're afraid to enter often holds the treasure that you seek, right? In other words, the thing that you've been avoiding to do is often the area where you can thrive and shine the greatest in your life. So what we have to learn to do is to tune out the noise that often tries to convince us that we're not good enough or that we can't handle new levels of success or we can't optimize our potential and gain access to new opportunities. You've got to lead with courage, meaning you may feel the fear. There may be doubts. There may be challenges that often try to stop you. There may be limiting beliefs that try to convince you not to take that step. But leading with courage means you're aware of these things, but you keep moving forward. It's often the start that stops most people. And then the second category of people that often get started is these individuals where the follow through is where they struggle the most. Meaning they develop the habit of starting things and stopping things. How many of us fall into this category? You may have been there where you started something. You started a new program. You started your fitness journey. You started working towards that idea as a creative. You started building that concept for your small business. You started putting together this plan for your nonprofit concept. And ultimately, as you started taking steps, discouraging times begin to arise. Disappointments begin to occur. Setbacks are what you experience. Frustrating moments, or ultimately, in some cases, gratification was delayed. And it put you into a state where you felt as if it's not even worth the effort. And before you know it, you found yourself giving up on something that you were passionate about. In some cases, this is a perpetual state that you find yourself in. You bounce from one idea to the next idea. And it's the struggle of the follow through, remaining with what it is that you're aiming to accomplish that many people often struggle with, right? Psychologists have done studies on like sales, and they estimate that it takes about 6 contact calls for you to land a contract, right? If you're a salesman, for you to win that sale. It often takes months for you to see results on your fitness journey when you're looking to get in shape, lose weight, build muscle. It can take years for your business to thrive. It can take years for you to get to where you want to be in your career. And what this shows and demonstrates is that it's not a not a sprint, so to speak, to get towards success. It's all about that marathon and enduring the test of time and sticking with it, right? What we need is a new level of stick-to-itness, right? To be able to lock in, to be able to stay dialed in, to remain focused, and to continue to follow through. We shouldn't put ourselves in a state where we're expecting instant gratification. No, be willing to delay gratification. Because as you delay gratification, you can build something for your future where generations to come can benefit from it. If you stick with it, you can put yourself in the best physical and mental shape because of your consistency, which leads me to the third category of people. And in that quote where I described, it's those individuals that remain disciplined and stay consistent with their goals, that are putting themselves in the position to create positive and lasting changes in their life. Here's what I want to really get across during this conversation, family. The call to action is for us to be consistent and remain disciplined. I don't know what you're working towards. I don't know what you're building. I don't know what it is that you're aiming to accomplish in this season of your life. But I will tell you, it's going to take a new level of discipline and consistency from you to get to where you aim to be in your life. And keep in mind, self-discipline is all about self-mastery. It's all about you directing your thoughts. If you're not in control of what you're thinking, then ultimately you will not be in control of how you show up and your day-to-day actions. So to help you remain disciplined, I want you to focus on 3 things this week. Every single morning, I want you to remind yourself of these 3 things. Number 1, I want you to remind yourself of what you want. Somebody comment below that statement. Remind myself of what I want. The second thing that I want you to remind yourself of is why you want it. Why is it important to you? Then lastly, the third reminder that I want you to offer to yourself every single morning this week is I want you to remind yourself that it's your personal responsibility to make it happen. When I think about the areas where I've built and developed some discipline, it's solely because I keep reminding myself of the end result. I want to put myself in that state. I want to experience the emotions that are associated with the results that I'm aiming to accomplish. I'm reminding myself of where I'm aiming to be, right? Then I'm also reminding myself on why this is important to me. In other words, I'm making my goals, my dreams, and my vision a little bit bigger than myself. I'm seeing how it can impact my family. I'm visualizing how this can impact the lives of others, the people that I've been destined to serve. And then I remind myself that it's my responsibility to make this happen. If it's to be, it's up to me. I can't wait for somebody to come save me. I can't wait for somebody to come and make it happen. I've got to take full responsibility for where I am now and where I aim to go in my life. It's all about self-discipline, because here's the challenge. What most people do, family, and I see you, Tanisha, yeah, we've all been guilty of it, but what most people do is this. We often base our decisions on how we feel in the moment. And this is why we lack the discipline, because you're not always going to feel motivated to stay consistent. You're not always going to be inspired to show up effectively. So you can't base your decisions, your day-to-day decisions solely on how you feel in this present moment. No, you got to stay locked in on where you want to be. In other words, commitment is deeper than just feelings, right? Commitment is an agreement that you make with yourself to achieve a particular goal. So when you say, yes, I'm going to be committed, what you're saying is, if I feel good, I'm going to stay committed. If I'm struggling, I'm going to stay committed. If I see the results, I'm going to stay committed. If the results are delayed or instant or gratification isn't instant, I'm still going to stay committed, because I'm not basing my decisions on how I feel. I'm basing my decisions on where I want to be. I'm hoping this makes sense, family. But in essence, and ultimately, what I'm saying is this: we want to be that third classification of individuals. Don't be those that stop at the start. Don't be those that give up through the follow through, but be those that remain disciplined and stay consistent. And it's through that consistency, it's through that daily discipline that you can build lasting changes in your life. Again, I don't know what you're working towards. Maybe you're aiming for that higher degree in education. Maybe you're launching your own personal business. Maybe you're working as a creative and building your brand. Maybe you're climbing the corporate ladder. Maybe you're fighting with a health challenge, right? Maybe you're looking to improve the quality of your life. Maybe you're going to the gym and aiming to accomplish particular fitness goals. Whatever the case may be, whatever it is, I challenge you, as we step into this week's opportunities, remain disciplined and stay consistent. You be the one that keeps showing up. You be the one that goes the extra mile. You be the one that bounces back from setbacks, and you find a way to rise above the challenges and create success for your life. You be the one that goes against the odds. You be the one that proves the doubters wrong. You be the one that continues to navigate the adverse conditions that you find yourself in, and you turn lemons into lemonade, and you find a way to succeed at whatever you're aiming to accomplish. You be the one. If you slid into this broadcast and I was unable to give you a shout out, be sure to comment below. And if in fact this is your first time, or maybe it's your first time in a long time, I welcome you. And I want to shout you out as well. Put a number 1 in the chat and then place your first name afterward. Again, put a number 1 in the chat and then place your first name afterward. I'm hoping that somebody somewhere found some value in today's conversation. If you were picking up what your boy D1 was putting down, put some fist up in the chat below. Let me know that this resonated with you and that you were inspired by today's message. Yes, Shalia, we all been there. Guilty of starting and stopping, extreme procrastinator. You know what? You can break that cycle right now. Who you were doesn't have to be who you remain. And that's the beautiful thing about it, y'all. That's the beautiful thing about it. Where you are now is a result of who you were. But where you go from here depends entirely on who you decide to be from this moment on. Maybe you have been a procrastinator. Maybe you have been a person that's always been anxious and fearful. Maybe you have been a person that always thought small. Maybe you have been that type of person that always allowed your insecurities to get the best of you. But in this moment, you can make a conscious decision. I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to show up more effectively. I'm going to take steps towards my goals. I refuse to allow my past to dictate my future. I won't allow yesterday's beliefs to dictate the life and the story that I live out today. That's got to be the mindset that we have. That's how you reinvent your life experience. That's how you change your life for the better. This is how you create positive changes for the future to come. Making that conscious decision. Jacksonville, Florida's in the building. Don, great day to you. Glad to have you tapped in. Excellent. I see the fist coming up. Family, if you did find value, please share this out with the people that you care about. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, as well as X, formerly known as Twitter. In fact, if we have yet to connect on other platforms, what are we waiting for? Connect with your boy. I'm at #1 Gibson on all platforms, including Instagram, Facebook. X is not on there, but I'm actually at D1 Gibson on that platform as well. Visit my YouTube channel also. One thing that I'm being very intentional about in 2025 is building our community there on that platform. That's where all of my long-form content, short films, and documentary series are available. That's at youtube.com/David Gibson. And again, at linkedin.com/David Gibson. Also connect with your boy there. And I often get asked, how can people contribute to the mission monetarily? Donating some funds, You can connect with me at Cash App. It's at $1 Gibson. Again, $1 Gibson. We truly appreciate your support financially. And nonetheless, you can also visit the website, elevationisAmust.com, for more information on my speaking and coaching services. And while you're there, check out the online store where you can purchase books, ebooks, and resources, all designed to help you level up your life and master your mindset. Again, that's elevationisAmust.com. With that being said, family, if you find yourself in a difficult situation or a challenging experience, just remember, this too shall pass. In fact, I need somebody to say that with me. This too shall pass. It's temporary. It's not permanent. So because it's not permanent, don't make a permanent decision that's based upon a temporary feeling, a temporary situation, a temporary circumstance. Stay locked in, stay dialed in, and keep persisting until you succeed. And somebody may say, well, D1, it sounds great, very inspiring, but honestly, brother, you have no idea what I'm experiencing. You have no idea what I'm up against right now in this season of my life. And that may be very well true, right? I may not know what you're experiencing, what you're facing right now in this moment. I may not even know you personally. But what I do know is this: whatever stands in front of you and whatever stands behind you has nothing compared to the power that's at work within you. So what I need you to do is to stand up with that power, leverage that power, utilize that power, and rise with that power. And when you rise with that power and move with conviction and speak with confidence and show up with determination, you can create a new reality and reinvent your life. If nobody else tells you that they love you today, remember, your brother from another mother, D1 Gibson, has nothing but love for each and every single one of you. Thank you all again for tapping in and joining us during today's live session. Again, I'm hoping you found value. Share it out with the people that you care about. We'll be back at it next week, Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tell a friend, coworker, family member, somebody that you're connected to, cat, dog, goldfish, whoever they may be. Tell them to join us next week during the broadcast. We're going to continue this mission, keep taking steps towards our goals on this journey of growth. I'll see you all next week. But in the meantime, have an effective, a successful, and a passionate week. And most importantly, 3 pounds to your chest. 1, 2, 3. Be powerful. I love each and every single one of you. Peace.